Today, sports scientists, trainers, athletes, and coaches put tremendous energy into improving training techniques. But training harder does not always translate into training smarter. Sports injuries are at an all-time high, and burnout is affecting athletes in their prime. Could the problem be not poor training techniques, but the haphazard methods that athletes are using to recover? Today we're going to talk about my 5 top optimum recovery methods. Let's get started. Our bodies are made up of 70% water, and all bodily functions are dependent upon sufficient water. The body cannot absorb salts, nor can it convert simple sugars into glycogen without sufficient water. Sufficient water intake is important before, during, and after your workout. Water has to be given the highest priority in order to recover as speedily as possible. Now, the bathroom scale is going to be your best tool in determining how much water weight you are losing during a workout. Simply weigh in before your workout and after, and you're going to get a good idea. 1 pint of water weighs 1 pound. So a gallon weighs 8 pounds. So based on your before and after, you're going to know how much water you need to replenish. Now start, after your workout, I want you to start just by drinking plain water before you consume any food. And then another option, as you start to hydrate, when you want to have a smoothie, start to eat some fruit. Blend some fruit with water to meet your hydration needs. Much like gasoline in your gas tank, your muscles keep a functional but limited supply of fuel within themselves so as to be ready when called upon. The fuel is a complex form of sugar that we call glucose and is known as glycogen. The glycogen we use in physical activity must be replaced. Now, a critical factor in recovery is having sufficient blood sugar to get to the muscles in order for them to recover. So timing your food intake becomes critical in terms of supplying sufficient carbohydrates immediately after training. Because for a 2-hour window, now here's the key, you have a 2-hour window after a workout, after your training, where you have a production of hormones that enable you to uptake blood sugar into the muscles at more than double the rate. Yes, more than double the rate of normal sedentary levels. So during that 2-hour window, it's important for you to eat plenty of fruit. Oranges, bananas, grapes, any fruits will do. That's going to help you getting the glycogen, the sugars, to the muscles. And that's going to help you also allay the soreness that you would normally have after a workout the next day. You'll find if you really upload those sugars within that 2-hour window, you're going to have less soreness and you're going to have more energy the next day as well. So to enhance your recovery, remember there has to be sufficient blood sugar available. So eat plenty of fruit after your workout. Mineral salts play a vital function in virtually every cellular activity of the body. Mineral salts make it possible for nutrients to flow into the cell and for waste products to flow out of the cell. Now, for athletic endeavors, it's important to focus primarily on two minerals, potassium and sodium. Now, potassium and sodium are key minerals in electrolyte balance. Now, celery and tomatoes are two of the highest sodium foods, although you're going to find sodium in all your fruits and vegetables. Now, we're talking natural sodium, the sodium that your body needs for electrolyte balance. This is not table salt. And fruits and vegetables are also high in potassium, with bananas, tomatoes, dates, and avocados at the top of the list. Now, I recommend that you get all your sodium and potassium needs from fruits and vegetables. Excess sodium from table salt has an adverse effect on the body's electrolyte balance, on the body's water distribution, and it's going to have a very negative effect on performance and recovery. So I highly recommend a diet dominated by fruits and vegetables. It's going to be very high in potassium and sodium. And don't worry, you know, sometimes you'll hear people say, well, too much potassium is not good. But the kidneys are extremely well equipped to eliminate any excess potassium. For any active person, rest and sleep are going to be just as important as the physical training itself. Unless you're waking up with plenty of energy, you're likely not getting enough sleep. Now, how much sleep does a person need? Well, simply put, enough. Now, cats are considered some of the most athletic of all animals, and they rest and sleep 18 hours a day. And many of the world's top athletes are known to rest and sleep 12 hours a day. Now, what makes you think that you can reach the top of your game on less than 8 hours? Now, how do we know whether we are getting enough sleep or not, or rest? It's not an intellectual endeavor. It's more of a feeling. How does a person know that it's time to eat, time to drink, time to use the bathroom? We rely on feelings. Rest and sleep are no different. When you awaken in the morning and you feel fully alert, refreshed, you've probably had enough sleep. However, if you'd rather roll over than roll out of bed, you probably should. You need more rest. You need more sleep. When we're not getting sufficient sleep and rest, it throws the body's homeostatic balance out of whack, and our recovery is going to suffer. On the other hand, when we get sufficient sleep and rest and nutrients, we will heal faster, we will recover faster, we will have improved performance and less injuries. One thing I think I've learned over my many years of studying nutrition, and I think it's the biggest thing that any athlete can do to really uptake their performance, their health, and their recovery, is to lower their fat intake. It's going to make a huge difference for you as an athlete. I think understanding which fats to consume and how much to consume can make a huge difference in your performance. First of all, which fats should we consume? I do not recommend any animal-based fats, any animal-based products, okay? Totally plant-based. Avocados, nuts, and seeds are going to be your best sources of fats, fatty acids, the omega-3s and 6s. You're going to get everything you need as far as fat is concerned from those sources. Now, one thing I want you to realize too is that, did you know that watermelon contains fat? Oranges contain fat? All fruits and vegetables contain certain amounts of fat. It's just that we have our overt fats like avocados, nuts, seeds, meat products, things like that. Those are overt fats. But people don't realize that there are healthy, good fats in all fruits and vegetables. Secondly, how much fat should we consume? The first thing you have to realize is that we do not have a license to consume unlimited quantities of even the so-called good fats. Even avocados, nuts, and seeds, you can overdo it. How much do you need? You need enough, and that's it. There are dire consequences for an athlete when they overeat fat. Anyone that overeats fat undereats carbohydrates. Therefore, they have less glucose in their system. They have less blood sugar that fuels the muscles. So too much fat, negative effect. Less glucose, less carbohydrates you're going to be eating. Also, when there's too much fat in the bloodstream, it limits oxygen transfer throughout the body. So your muscles, your cells are not getting the oxygen when you're eating too much fat. So this is a double whammy for an athlete. So bringing that fat consumption down is really going to help you. So what is recommended? I recommend 10% of your daily caloric intake come from the good fats, avocados, nuts, and seeds. Now, you may hear nutritionists that'll say we need 30, 35, 40% of our calories from fats. And you have to realize that this number is significantly skewed by the meat and dairy industry lobbying. Dr. Colin Campbell, who at the time was working for the National Academy of Sciences, he's the man that wrote the China study, that book that really enlightened a lot of people about how much fat and protein we actually need. And when he was working for that academy, he did a report and he sent it to the director of the USDA, suggesting a reduction in fat intake. Too much fat intake is really harmful to your health. I mean, a lot of people know that. But the numbers get skewed because of this lobbying. And the director of the USDA, this is what he said to Dr. Campbell after he suggested lowering it. He said, and I quote, "If we went below 30%, consumers would be required to reduce animal food intake, and that would be the death of the report." So it just goes to show how much influence the meat and dairy industry have over a lot of the numbers that you see out there regarding, what kind of foods we should be eating and how much. So the goal is 10% of your daily caloric needs. Now, most people don't understand how little that is. Here's an example. for you to have a 10% of your daily caloric needs from fats, it would only be, let's say, a handful of nuts, 1 or 2 ounces of nuts, or maybe a half an avocado or a whole avocado. And that's it for the day. Remember, you're going to get fats also in all your fruits and vegetables. But if you're eating fruits and vegetables as the main part of your diet, and then occasionally you're having a little fat from the avocados, nuts, and seeds, your health is going to soar, your performance and your recovery will soar. So that's how little we actually need. So I know it sounds a little extreme maybe if you've never heard this before, but it works. And I know I look thin, but I'm telling you, I was born thin, okay? I've never been more than, I think the most I ever weighed in my life was 160 pounds. So, I'm just a thin person. There are people that are extremely, a lot stronger than me and bigger than me that eat this way as well and do very well. They thrive on it. So try it. Try it for a week. What do you have to lose? What I did was years ago, I've been doing this now for 13 years, and I tried it for a week. A week turned into a month into a year, and I've been doing it ever since. So I know it works because I'm in my 71st year. I'll be 71 in December, and I'm still out there playing tennis with young people. So I wish you all the best, and I hope these 5 tips will help you recover better, take your health up a notch, and improve your performance. I'd like to share with you one of my favorite post-match/workout smoothies. It's a very simple thing, and it'll also help hydrate you by, we're going to add a little water to it. So it's simple, 3 ingredients: bananas, celery, and water. Now, if you wanted, optionally, you could add some hemp seeds, chia seeds to get those omega-3s and 6s, but that's optional, and just a tablespoonful, that's all. But I like it just bananas, celery, and water. It's delicious. It has a little bit of a taste like licorice, actually, when you blend these together. And if you don't have a blender, you need to invest in a blender. This happens to be my trusty Vitamix blender. These things are unbelievable. I mean, they take things like celery and just make it so smooth and creamy. It's great. So they're a great blender. Get a good blender. It's a great investment. So, and notice too, my bananas here are ripe. You can see they've got the spots on them. That's what you want. You want them where the sugar is there, it's readily available. Now, some people don't like them that sweet, but at least let them get some spots on them where they start to turn a little bit. You don't want an unripe banana. The starch is there. Eventually it'll turn to sugar, but you want the sugar right away. So to get into the muscles. So basically, I'll take, typically I got what, 5 bananas here. I may put 5 in there. Sometimes I've been known to put 10 in there. It all depends on how intense the workout was or the match was and how much I need. Marathon runners, the Kenyan marathon runners, they've been known to eat 15 to 20 bananas after their workouts. Tremendous glycogen boost. So, great for your recovery. So basically, we're going to take, I'm just going to do 3 bananas right now, but you could do, as I mentioned, up to, you could do up to 20 if you wanted. But, you know, really, I think, you know, to start off, it's not that easy to consume a lot of fruit. And that's because you're on too much of a high-fat diet. So once you lower the fat, as I mentioned, you're going to be able to start to consume more fruit and get more glucose in the system, and you're going to get better delivery to the muscles and cells, and you're going to have, you know, better recovery. So I've just got 1 piece of celery in there. I've got 3 bananas. I'm going to put some water in there. Well, I put a lot in there. I put 2 cups. It should have been 1, but 2 will work. So let me get this thing cranking. All right. So remember, you've got your sodium, your potassium, your water, your sugars. It's fantastic. As I mentioned, it's got like that licorice taste to it. It's really good. So, what a blast it has been. I really appreciated presenting this program to you. If you have any questions or comments, please shoot me a text or an email, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. All the best, Peter Freeman, Mervin, and the 10Con people. Much appreciated for having me on. Take care.